What's good, everyone? I want to welcome y'all to another episode of Triggered News Topics. And I'm your host, Thylor Amin Ra. And today, commentary is titled, We, Foundational.Black Americans, Deserve Reparations. Let's get into it. For the past maybe 3 years, the call for reparations has gotten louder and louder. And I'm proud of my people, my Black Americans, my foundational Black Americans, because we're standing on our square and we're not backing down. In this country, United States of America, the foundational Black American, or what some want to call African American, we deserve reparations because we made America. First thing, let's get this one thing clear. We are not immigrants. We didn't immigrate over here. To be honest and true, there were already Black people over here way before the slave trade. And they were called the Black Aboriginals or the Black Natives or Black Indians. And they were here before the Red Indians, the Mongolian Indians that came over the ice bridge from Eastern Europe, East and Western Europe. And this is proven by the simple fact that there was no United States of America in existence, at all. Matter of fact, this patch of land that is called United States of America was called Turtle Island. But once the 3% of slaves that were sold in Africa and brought over here, because that was all the only percentage of slaves that made it to what we know as the United States of America, 97% of the slaves went to Southern America and the Caribbean islands. So the 3% of slaves that made it here and that was forced to intertwine, mingle, and mate with the Black Aboriginals, because when the settlers, the British, came over here, what they would do was come through and slaughter the natives, And if they didn't slaughter them, they captured them and recertified them or reclassified them, as Negroes, And then forced breeding with the 3% of Africans, Now, the outcome or the offsprings of them people are what we calling now foundational Black Americans, And like I said before, there was no United States of America. We built United States of America, So if you are people that are on a land and then create the country that is of the land, you cannot be an immigrant. You are the foundation of the country. That is why we, Black Americans, have taken on the moniker of Foundational Black Americans, F.B.A. for short. Now, to the point of how we deserve reparations, and ain't no begging about it, We made this country, Let's be very clear. We built this thing on our back, blood, sweat, and tears. Don't care if we were slaves or not, The so-called slave masters couldn't get it done, So we did that. Now, for many different aspects, from war to the economy to the culture of this country we created. Many contributions that we have made to this country, and this country wouldn't be the top dog that it is without that. We pioneered so many things. We pioneered the first EMS, Emergency Medical Services, all right? That was created by us, Foundational Black Americans. And that was founded in 1967, Black Hill District of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Freedom House Ambulance Services, all right? Now, without that, when people would get hurt, stabbed, shot, or whatever like that, they would die on the spot because they didn't have emergency medical services. So, you're welcome, America, and the world. All right? Not only that, first one's Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. First one to do open heart surgery. Man, listen, you know how many people be dying to this day because of all the cholesterol and fatty foods we eat? If we didn't have the technology or the skill to do open heart surgery, you're welcome for that. And that was done back in 1894. Man, we did so many things for this country, man. The pacemaker that goes back to the heart. The blood transfusions. Blood banks. Man, listen. Neurosurgery. You name it. And that's just in medicine. Man, we got so much things in technology. The first computer, all right? The cell phone, GPS. Man, listen. Look, the IBM personal computer was co-invented by a black man named Mark Dean, all right? So let's not get it twisted. And if it wasn't for a black man named James West, there will be no microphones, all right? There will be no listening devices such as telephones, hearing aids, all right? Microphones that we do music on or that we address audiences with. Man, listen, the list goes on. Even when it comes to culture dealing with food, language, art, clothing, music. Man, do you know a man named Granville T. Woods, a black man? All right? No, excuse me. I'm sorry. I got that mistaken. George Crumb was the black man that created the potato chips. All right, which is to this day a tasty snack that has made billions, if not trillions, for the different companies that has got involved in that genre of foods. Man, listen. Now, going back to the name that I said before, Granville T. Woods, he's responsible for creating the telegraph. And he created that for the use to allow the train dispatchers, engineers, and conductors to communicate with each other while navigating the train systems safely. So it wouldn't be a lot of built backups or crashes and things of the manners. Man, listen, we some bad folks, all right? And he also, all right, patented the steam boiler furnace for the trains, okay? So let's just cut out all this crap about we don't deserve reparations. Man, Elijah McCoy created the automatic oil cup, which is an automatic lubrication system which oiled the train's axles and bearings. So to keep the trains moving and going, so we wouldn't have to keep stopping to have it hand oiled by people to keep the trains moving on without rusting out and things of that aspects. Man, listen, we are the top dogs in here. And FYI, for your information, you know that term, the real McCoy? Well, that came from Elijah McCoy because when he created the automatic oil cup, you know, a lot of people like today would try to come along and try to bootleg it and try to steal his glory. But the products that they would create was inferior. So when people was looking to buy his product, they would say, is this the real McCoy? Man, listen, we got my man Alexander Miles. Yo, do you know he created the automatic elevator door? And before Alexander Miles even thought of that, you know, the elevator, the pastime elevator, they used to have these gates that you would have to pull by hand, and there was two of them. It was one gate for the elevator and one gate for the hallway. But there was a problem because there was a lot of people dying from not having proper protection from the elevator shafts. You know, sometimes people forget to close one gate or that gate. Sometimes you forget to close the gate to the hallway, and the elevator goes up and down, and then maybe a kid or somebody coming in and not paying attention will walk right off into the elevator shaft. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of deaths behind that. But my man Alexander Miles, he stopped all that. He made it safer for Americans to ride on the elevator. And that's just a small amount, man. We got Benjamin Banneker, you know what I mean? He created the first American clock. We got Lewis Lattimore. He created the carbon filament for the light bulb. And man, listen, if it wasn't for Lewis Lattimore, there would be no lighting, in-house lighting. All right? So, as far as that what was it, Edison cat or whatever they trying to say they created the light bulb, that's garbage. You know what I mean? All he created was a glass bulb that was worth nothing. You heard? Nothing. Man, listen, we didn't created the gas mask, which is to this day helps our American troops out. But originally the gas mask was created for the fire department because before the gas mask was created, a lot of firemen would die in fires, and not even because of the fire, but they would die because of smoke inhalation. That's right, smoke inhalation. And the black man that created the gas mask, my man name was Garrett Morgan. And not only did he create the gas mask, he created the traffic light. That is still being used to this day. That helps people to drive safely. Because before the traffic light, you would have a lot of auto accidents because you had so many people just driving wild and crazy without order. So, we've created, like I said, the computer, the cell phone. To this day, you got people running around with the cell phones. It's cool. We get on the internet and, you can do so many different things now that gives you your freedom to move around and be able to communicate with each other. And that's all because of foundational Black Americans. Man, listen, we are America. We are the United States of America. And as far as culture, we all know us foundational Black Americans created all the music of this country. And I do mean all. Doesn't matter what face that you see on it now, because it was stolen from us. We created rock, we created country, we created jazz, and we created hip hop. Wasn't nobody else, no Jamaicans, no Latinos. They came later. And we don't appreciate you trying to do what the white supremacists do and try to come and steal our contributions. That's not appreciated at all. And also how we deserve reparation. We done fought in every war that this country done had. Every war. All right? And let's not forget about the most important war, the Civil War. Man, listen, the North was getting their ass cracked, whooped by the South. And if it wasn't for Lincoln allowing the black slaves to come in and fight, and let's not get it twisted, Lincoln did not do it out of the kindness of his heart. He did it just like what any politician does anything to this day, for himself, to get votes, all right? Man, the North was getting their butt cracked. But once the foundational Black Americans got into that war, We kicked behind and we won it for the United States. Because if we didn't win this war, there would be no United States of America at all. This would be the Confederate States of America, and we know how them Confederates was getting down. Straight white supremacists. So, to all you folks that are here now, that come from abroad, that is enjoying the freedoms or so-called freedoms, but enjoying all the amenities of the United States of America, you are welcome. You're very welcome. Even though, nobody really shows no true appreciation. Everybody comes over here and want to get on the white supremacist bandwagon and start hating against black people. Man, everything that makes this country great is from foundational Black Americans. Everything that every other group from every other country sees and hears about this country that makes them want to be a part of this country is foundational Black American. No ifs and buts about it. And what have we gotten from this country for all the contributions and the great things we did for this country? Let's see. We've gotten slavery. We've gotten whipped and beaten and raped. We've gotten our hung. We've had our children cut out of our women's bellies and used for gator bait. We've had so much things done to us. We've had lies about who we are and our character placed upon us. And then once so-called slavery is over, we had Jim Crow, where the folks, the dominant society still chose to try to humiliate us and harm us. Every time we would go off on our own and we create our own cities and towns, they would come and ransack it and burn it down and pillage and plunder and murder us. Steal our fortunes. Okay, we had our own bank, man, that had billions, called the Freeman's Bank. They raided that bank and stole all of our finances, okay? Just the same way of a lot of the patterns and things that we've created for this country, these folks then stole from us and put their name on it. And we all know this to be true, whether you want to admit it or not. So like I said, from the culture of the music, even to the style, to the slangs, even some of the holidays that we all celebrate. I just found out that, black people, we created Memorial Day. Yeah. And that's something that is supposed to be an American holiday that all of us enjoy. Now, we have other holidays that everyone gets off on, Juneteenth and things of that, Martin Luther King's Day. But, the dominant society and regular people don't appreciate that, because every time you turn around, you got elections and stuff, you got slime balls like Vivek Vaswamy and Ron DeSantis just trashing all over the accomplishments that black people have done. So, I just wanted to say this little rant, if you want to call it, my little verbal essay, just to let the people know that, listen, we foundational Black Americans, we're not begging for no reparations. We've earned it. We've deserved it. Because every time that we have thrived and contributed and did for ourselves, pulled the bootstraps up and did it for ourselves, you, the dominant society, you, as they call the so-called white man, along with your, let's just say, I don't even know what to call them, junior white supremacists or honorary white supremacist groups that come to this country, like the Irish and the Italians and the Jewish. When they first got over here, they were catching hell too. So what they wanted to do, they wanted to group up with us and use us as cannon fodder and put us in the front. So as foundational Black Americans has always done, fought against white supremacy, they wanted to use us. And then once they were able to get their acceptance from this country, they turned on us too. Started denigrating us, started attacking us. The Irish attacked us in New York when they had the drafts for the what was it, Civil War. The Italians, once they got their foot in the door, they flipped the script on us. And yes, you Jewish people too. After 1966, once America decided that your hazing point was over, you flipped the script on us too. All right? From the slum lords, landlords that used to just have shabby apartments and shelters that they would give to us, rat infested, roach infested, and wouldn't even attempt to try to fix it up for us. And then in the late 70s, it was like a whole mass movement of the Jewish slumlords burning down the apartments and burning black people out their homes. All right? So from wars to culture to contributions from medicine to science to technology, the whole economy itself. Do you know that this country would not be the wealthiest country if it wasn't for the over 200 and some odd years that they got a free labor from us? And then after that, with Jim Crow, all the inventions and stuff that they stole from us, or the inventions and stuff that we created that generated wealth for this country. Shoot, even my man Ford, what was it, the car company? Was it Gerald Ford or something? But you know the Ford company that they have now, the car company. Excuse me. He's even admitted once slavery and everything was over and black folks were allowed to work and stuff like that. He even admitted, man, because the dominant society, white folks, they had their unions and stuff, and they wasn't allowing black people to be in the unions, that he would hire majority of his workforce was the former slaves. So we helped individual companies come off the ground and build their wealth to now that are $1 trillion companies to this day. All these businesses of corporate America have used or I'm sorry, but I'm kind of emotional right now because I'm so passionate about this. So sometimes a lot of things slip, but they used us to generate their future wealth for their grandsons and their great-great-grands who now to this day in the 20,000s are living high in the hog. And then these folks got the nerve to turn on us and talk about we don't deserve reparations. Man, be quiet. Because like I stay here, and if anybody wants to go ahead and come behind me and do the fact checks, you go ahead and find out and see that, man, listen, we created many things, opportunities, wealth. You understand what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. We won majority of these wars too for this country. So, as a foundational Black American, if anybody ever tells you we don't deserve reparation, you tell them to kiss your backside and you direct them over here to Triggered News Topics so you can get a little bit of this information that they need. Man, just Google it up. It's all general knowledge. So I'm about to wrap this up, but like I'm going to reiterate to you and reiterate to the world that foundational Black Americans, we deserve reparation and we going to get it. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in again for another episode of Triggered News Topics. I'm your host, Stylord Amin Ra, and you have a good night.